Here we are in Chapter 6 review exercises numbers 20 through 23 where we are solving equations. We have fractions. We got to get rid of them by multiplying through by the least common denominator. In this case, we see a y and a y plus 3. So we times through by y times y plus 3. Y times y plus 3. And y times y plus 3. And watch the magic happen as we times through. We just times through by the same common denominator everywhere, but here the y canceled and we're left with y plus 3. Here the y plus 3 canceled, so we've got plus 2 times y. So plus 2y equals, and the y plus 3 cancels over there and we have a 5y. From a horrible looking equation to one that is, wait a second, that's nice. 3y plus 3 equals 5y. Subtract 3y to both sides. We have 3 equals just a positive 2y, and divide by 2. The only thing we need to worry about now is, okay, so 3 halves is the answer. Just double check that it's not one of the bad numbers. If our answer turned out to be a 0 or a negative 3, we would have 0 in the bottom. We are not those numbers, so we are safe. Yeah, excellent. All right, number 21. We need a t plus 3 and a t minus 4. Yep, the common denominator is t plus 3 times t minus 4. So we're going to go in both places, all the places, times by t plus 3. T plus 3, t minus 4, good. And t plus 3, t minus 4. And t plus 3, there we go, and t minus 4. Okay. So over here, when we times this term, that cancels, and we're just left with t minus 4. 1 times that. Here, the t minus 4 cancels, and we're left with 3 times t plus 3, which is 3t plus 9. And over here, everything canceled, so it equaled a negative 7. So t plus 3t, that's 4t, minus 5 plus 5 equals a negative 7. Subtract 5 from both sides and we get 4t equals a negative 12. T equals a negative 3. Excellent. Now all we have to do is check and make sure it's not one of the bad numbers. We see that if it were a 4, it would put a 0 on this fraction. If it's a negative 3, it cannot be a negative 3. It'll put 0 on the bottom. Bad. There is no solution. Alrighty, number 22. Common denominator is x plus 2 times x minus 3, so let's multiply through by that. Since we have equations, we might as well use our advantage that we can times by anything we want to. X plus 2 times x minus 3. As we multiply those, x minus 3 cancels over here, and we're left with a 4x plus an 8. We get the x jumping in there as x squared minus 3x. Oh, now notice, in our other problems, we had linear equations, no exponents at all. This, we've got a polynomial equation, so we have to do it like Chapter 5, where we get everything equal to 0 and then factor it. So subtract 4x from both sides, and we get x squared minus 7x. Subtract 8 over here, and now we are equal to 0. Then we have to factor this. Leading coefficient is a 1. So we get x minus 8 and x plus 1 equal to 0. And that gives us two answers. X equals 8 when we set this factor equal to 0. And if we set this one equal to 0, x plus 1 equals 0. Subtract 1 from both sides and we get x equals a negative 1. Excellent. Now we just need to double check that these are not the bad numbers. Yeah, negative 2 would put this guy equal to 0, and 3 would put this guy equal to 0. So as long as we're not negative 2 and 3, those are safe answers to keep for the problem. Yes, indeed. And now number 23. Looks like the common denominator is m times m minus 5. So let's remove all fractions. Now you could add these, an m minus 5 here and an m there, and add them with a common denominator. But this will do that and get rid of the denominator at the same time. So let's times everything by m minus 5, m minus 5, and m m minus 5. So we times each term. On this term, this one cancels, and we're left with m plus 1 times m minus 5. That's m squared minus 5m minus plus m. That's a minus 4m minus 5. Good. On this second term, we get those guys canceled, so we're left with a 6m. And then the m cancels over here, so we're left with m minus 5. This is a polynomial equation, so we must get everything over to the left-hand side equal to 0. So we have m squared minus 4m plus 6m, and then we're going to minus m from both sides to get it over here, and we have that's plus an m. And then the 5 and the 5, add 5 here, add 5 there, and they go away. Plus 5, yeah. So we're left with 0. All right, factor. Greatest common factor is an m. Get m plus 1 equals 0. So we get m equals 0 and m equals a negative 1. So let's go check right here. In the original fraction, we couldn't have a 5 or a 0. So of these two answers, that one is not possible as an answer. So m equals negative 1 is our answer. Good.